To kind of sum up, next year we'll have a $26 billion budget. That's $3 billion more than this year. Next year we will have $14 billion of state money to spend. That is the most money that we have had since the boom days after Katrina. That is about a 31% increase in state money, not federal, in state money over the past 6 years. All right, where did all this money come from? Well, I think you know the answer to that. Taxes and fees. But the truth of the matter is that the legislature decided as a matter of policy last spring to start raising taxes. And they raised roughly about $800 million. If you add that to the taxes and fees raised this year, under the former taxes were raised under Governor Jindal, current taxes were raised under Governor Edwards, even though I hasten to add, neither one of them gets to vote on the bill in the legislature. It's ultimately a decision for the legislature. We're looking at about $2.4 billion. Now, I don't want to bore you, but I think it is instructive. I made a list. It might not be complete, but this is what I think they actually raised, and I just want to go through it very, very quickly. The state raised corporation income taxes, corporation franchise taxes, sales taxes on consumers, cigarette taxes, liquor taxes, sales taxes on purchases of machinery and equipment. State raised inventory taxes, personal income capital gains taxes. They reduced the citizens' property insurance credit, which will raise personal income taxes. State raised telephone taxes, taxes on short-term home or apartment rentals, insurance premium taxes, reduced vendor compensation, reduced interest on taxpayer overpayments, business utility taxes, reduced the tax credits for taxes paid to other states, reduced the 3-year carryback option for the net operating losses deduction, reduced the solar tax credit, reduced the severance tax exemption for horizontal wells, reduced the enterprise zone tax credits. That's just the taxes. Now the fees. We're still going through to see which of these passed, but I think most of them did. We will have new fees or fee increases on the state courts, the Office of Motor Vehicles, cemeteries, fishing guides, drones, pipeline operators, clemency investigators, architects, medical records, notaries, oyster farmers, court reporters, crabbers, hunters, school bus drivers, insurance consultants, electric vehicle owners, oil companies, learner drilling permits, contractors, birth certificates, death certificates, towing companies, and I understand they increased the price on veterans' funerals, food vendors, beverage vendors, and that doesn't include the massive fee tax packages which came out of DHH and DEQ and the Department of Agriculture. Another critical question is, well, how much money do the people of Louisiana have to contribute? We have the 3rd highest unemployment rate right now in America, and rising. We're a point below Illinois. Number 1 is Alaska. Our unemployment rate is 6.3%. The U.S. average is 5.5%. And that 6.3% unemployment rate really masks the real problem. Go down to St. Mary Parish, 9.2%. Go down to Iberia Parish, 9.1%. Our gross domestic product as a state every year is anywhere from $220 to $240 billion. That's the total amount of goods and services we produce. 40% of that, directly or indirectly, is related to oil and gas. My point is, this is not a strong economy. And taking a slice, when government comes in and takes a bigger slice out of a healthy economy, is worth it. But when it comes in, as the state has done, and takes a bigger slice out of a weak economy, that's another thing altogether, and makes the situation worse. I think that it is clear that the raise taxes movement won. And of course the quarterback was Governor Edwards. And I read everybody's, the pundits, and while I respect everybody's opinion, I mean, mean, I think you have to conclude that in terms of a winner getting what he wants, Governor Edwards won these last 3 sessions. Unfortunately, in my opinion, the Louisiana taxpayer lost. And here's why I say that. Before they raised $2.4 billion worth of new taxes and fees, over the past 10 years, our economy had grown 25%. State government had grown 44%. That's before the tax increases. Before they raised the taxes and fees, Louisiana ranked, based on the most recent U.S. Census Bureau data, Louisiana ranked #1 in per capita spending, in state and local per capita spending. Why do I include state and local? Because some states deliver a service or a product at the state level, others at the federal level, or rather others at the local level. So to be fair, to compare apples to apples and states to states, you have to include state and local spending. Before these tax increases, we were #1 in the South in state and local spending per capita. If you just look at state spending, if you don't want to couple state and local, then according to the Kaiser Family Foundation, once again, before $2.4 billion in new taxes and fees, Louisiana was spending 43% more capita than Texas and 71% more capita than Florida. Now, that's just a fact. That tells me we had a spending problem, not a revenue problem. Nonetheless, the governor won the day. They raised $2.4 billion worth of new taxes and fees. The largest tax increase in the history of this state. A breathtaking amount. We now have more state money, $14 billion, than we have had in a decade. The budget is $3 billion more beginning July 1 than it is today. And that's just a fact. And they will be back for more. At some point, we have to start talking about the spending side. It's clear to me, having said that, everybody's picking winners and losers. Governor Edwards won these 3 sessions. He won. The tax and spenders won. There's no question about that. I mean, if you look at it just state dollars, and I purposely left federal dollars out because of the expansion of Medicaid, we've gone from 10.7 in 2010 to 14 today. That's 30 plus. That's 30. We have 30% more state money today than we had in 2010. And if you listen to the governor, it's not nearly enough. And the obvious question becomes, okay, when will it be enough? How much more do you need? And why do you need it? And what have you done to try to control the costs? Why did you kill that contracts bill? Why did you go back on your commitment to try to do co-pays for Medicaid? 44 states have co-pays for Medicaid. He killed that bill. Or at least he didn't support it. And he talked about it in his address. I don't mean to be rude, but there was just no effort spent on controlling spending. It was all money.
The governor had boasted quite a few times, even in his address after the special session, that this was the most honest budget they've engineered the state's engineered in 8 years. What's the response to that?
I think it's the most anti-taxpayer budget I've ever seen. I don't consider that honest. I think they raised $2.4 billion in an economy that's in trouble and didn't spend any time trying to control our costs. And every suggestion that came to the governor was, it can't work, won't work, don't have time. You don't understand. And I don't agree with that point of view. I just don't. I respect him. He won. The tax and spenders won. But I just think there's money to be saved. It'll be $3 billion more next year than we have this year. So the idea that we don't have any money is a bunch of nonsense. Over the past 365 days, the Louisiana legislature has raised $2.4 billion in new taxes and fees. It's the largest tax increase in the history of our state. It's a breathtaking amount. It was done at the encouragement of Governor Edwards. He won. I mean, he won. He got what he wanted. The tax and spenders clearly won in these last 2 legislative sessions. But I'll tell you, who lost? The Louisiana taxpayer. There was way too much time spent down at the Capitol talking about how much money do we in government have to spend. There was no time that I could see spent talking about, well, how much money do the working families and the small businesses in the state have to spend. And they're the ones that got to come up with the money. We had a spending problem going into all this. We've still got a spending problem. I don't care how high they raise taxes, as long as they don't get control of their costs, we're going to run deficits. What tax? We got at least, I think, 18,000 and probably a lot more. We don't need all of them. Some of them we do need. We don't need all of them. Number 2, Medicaid fraud. The Obama administration has testified before Congress that 10% of our Medicaid spending is fraud. We'll never get rid of all of it, but if we got rid of 20% of it, we could save $200 or $300 million. People go into emergency rooms for routine care to get a pregnancy test, to have a wart removed, the taxpayers have to pay for. That's a needless expense. 22% of all of our managers in state government manage 1 employee. Average manager manages 4. Normal span of control would be 1 to 8. We got too many generals, not enough foot soldiers. The generals make a lot more money. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff we can do to save money, but it takes work. It's hard, and you have to tell somebody no. Raising taxes compared to the hard work of reducing spending is pretty easy. Politicians do it and then hope that voters will forget by the next time they run for office.
What have some other states done to control Medicaid costs?
Oh, the Patient Navigator program in California and Oregon and Texas, they put a paraprofessional at the entrance of every emergency room. They intercept patients who come in and want to spend $700 of taxpayer money on a pregnancy test, get them a private clinic. That's one example. Other states are looking at tying their prescription drug costs and Medicaid to the VA prices and saving a lot of money. There are hundreds of things we can do.
If people